Good morning to you. We are staying on top of breaking news at 6 a.m. A fire at a strip mall in Kearny Mesa is now under investigation.
News 8's Evan Ronnie is live near Balboa Avenue and Convoy Street, not too far from the station here with an update. Good morning, Evan.
Good morning to you as well. That's right. Fire crews that we spoke with, the battalion chief says that thanks to the quick work by the San Diego Fire Department, they were able to prevent any further damage to this structure, the strip mall here on Convoy and Balboa. You can see behind us, this mainly was affecting the Illusions Vape and Smoke Shop as well as the Lash Supply Store. Those are two of the stores right in front of us here. But they say thanks to the firefighters that were able to respond within minutes, they prevented it from spreading to other businesses within this strip mall. Take a listen to what that battalion chief had to say.
We did our primary and secondary searches. Everything's looking good. So right now we're just in an overhaul stage and making sure we button everything up safely.
And that was the status as of just about an hour ago. Fire crews responded around 3 o'clock this morning to that commercial structure fire. They say it began in a business to the center of the strip mall. After putting that out, they found some residual fire and smoke in the attic and the vents of the building, and they were able to extinguish that as well. The battalion chief says because of that quick work, they were able to prevent extensive damage to the building itself and to the surrounding businesses here on Convoy. Now, a portion of Balboa Avenue was closed to traffic earlier this morning while fire crews and investigators were arriving to the scene, trying to determine how this fire began. But at this point, fire crews were able to leave earlier this morning, about an hour ago. They say at this point it will be up to fire investigators to determine how exactly this fire began. And again, some of the businesses here in this strip mall are going to be able to reopen. They say they're going to ensure that when they get into their businesses that they're not serving any food products, for example, that were open or able to have any of that smoke come through the building. So they may need to get rid of some of their product. But they do say, however, that they should be able to reopen with their businesses. There are just a couple, this Illusions Vape and Smoke Shop as well as the Lash behind us, that will have to remain closed for the time being while they continue that investigation. So we, of course, will be here this morning. We'll keep you updated with the latest. But for now, Stella, Eric, I'll send things back to you in the studio.
Evan, thank you for that. COVID vaccines for younger children will be up for review today. A CDC panel is meeting to decide whether to give the green light to Pfizer's vaccine for kids ages 5 to 11. This is for emergency use authorization. Now, if the panel moves forward with the recommendations, it will then need final approval from the CDC director before children can get the vaccine. This could happen later this week. Kids who get the COVID shots would receive 1/3 of the dose compared to the full dose for adults.
This morning, the County Board of Supervisors will discuss whether to continue to require new hires to be fully vaccinated. Right now, new hires must be fully vaccinated before starting employment. The county says requests for exemptions may be considered. Our border will be reopening to non-essential travel soon, and today we expect to get another update on the big changes.
News 8's Allison Royal is live in San Ysidro to explain the potential economic impact on businesses in the South Bay. Good morning, Allison.
Hey, good morning, Stella and Eric. That's exactly what's happening. So non-essential travel will be allowed starting on November 8th for travelers that can show proof of full COVID-19 vaccination. Now, that applies to people who are coming in from both Mexico right over here or people who are coming up north from Canada. Now, this has had a huge economic impact here in the South Bay, but some of the business owners we spoke to say, although they're a little bit concerned about even more traffic at the border, overall, they're happy that more people will be crossing over and hopefully spending some money over here.
It's still not back to normal. We're hoping in the next few months, hopefully we'll get back to normal, but it's been challenging so far.
So that was Melanie Alvarado for Fishmart Pescaderia y Algo Más in San Ysidro. She said business levels are still not back to what they were before the pandemic hit. But it's not just customers. Many of her employees also come from Baja California. I spoke to some restaurant owners that said more than half of their employees and customers come from Baja California, and that's pretty common in a lot of these San Ysidro businesses. A lot of binational cooperation, a lot of people who live on one side of the border and work on the other. So this has had quite a domino effect. In fact, earlier this month, the San Ysidro Chamber of Commerce reported $1.25 billion in lost sales, if you can believe that. And that's all attributed to COVID-19 restrictions. It also said that about 200 businesses here in the San Ysidro area have closed their doors during the pandemic. Now, back out here, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol is going to be hosting a briefing a little bit later on this morning at 8:30, where they're going to walk through exactly what this process is going to look like. So what are the acceptable and valid forms of proof of vaccination that people can show when they're crossing into the border, and other things that they should be prepared for if they're going to go ahead and book some non-essential travel. I'm going to go ahead and send it back to you, too.
Allison, thank you. Sentencing is set this morning for the man who shot and killed a church's chicken employee in Kearny Mesa. Albert Lee Blake was found guilty of first-degree murder for shooting and killing Maribel Ibanez 2 years ago. Blake opened fire after he was turned away for trying to use a fake $100 bill. 2 other employees were hit. They survived. Blake could face life in prison. Right now, police are looking for a man who sexually assaulted a woman inside a restroom at De Anza Cove Park. Happened around 7:30 Sunday night in Mission Bay. Police have a vague description for a person of interest, describing him as a darker-skinned male with a blue mountain bike with black rims and silver spokes. You're asked to call San Diego police if you have any information. Volunteer teams are focusing on the desert areas east of San Diego in their ongoing search for missing mother Maya Miliete. This past weekend, they searched the Fish Creek area of the Anza Borrego Desert. That's where Maya's brother-in-law says she would often go off-roading with her husband, Larry, who's now charged with her murder. The district attorney believes Larry disposed of her body more than 2 hours from the family's Chula Vista home.
All that area, about 2.5 hours from Larry's house. That's where we're focusing our searches from now on.
Search teams started focusing on the Salton Sea area after Larry called his children from jail and told them to watch the movie Shot Caller. The violent prison gang drama makes several references to the Salton Sea. Larry is due back in court later this week for a bail review hearing.
And this morning, some relief may be on the way for American Airlines passengers after days of cancellations and delays. The airline says many of their flight attendants that were on leave are starting to return to work. 250 American Airlines flights were canceled yesterday. 1,800 flights were canceled over the weekend, due in part to weather and staffing issues.
This morning, San Diegans are remembering and honoring loved ones who have passed away.
Yeah, local leaders will host a Dia de los Muertos ceremony tonight outside the county administration building. They've set up a memorial to remember those who died of COVID-19. Last year, there were 900 candles on display. This year, there are 4,200. Today's ceremony is at 6:30 p.m.
Let's take a peek outside here, Netta. How is it looking here on a Tuesday?
You know, it's looking all right if you like clouds. We do have plenty of those. But right here, this is our Otay Mountain camera. Looking towards the east, there's that glow of the, early sunrise. Obviously, right now, our official sunrise time, it's just so late. 7:07 in the morning, so I'm always desperate to find some light on these cameras. And there's some right there. You do see a bit of high cloud coverage thanks to this light that's coming through. But mainly, San Diego's covered in our marine layer clouds. So visibility is low because of that. Ramona, Fallbrook, these are our trouble spots, if you want to call it that, right along the 15 it looks like, and the 78 if you're headed that way through the foothills. Now Oceanside, Carlsbad, it's also fairly low. Otay Mesa, it's down to 6 miles. Same with Kearny Mesa. And relative humidity is up there. Yesterday we had this onshore flow, the marine layer. I was outside for, an hour and my hair was like doing all kinds of weird curly things. And that's just what happens when we get that moisture. You may have hair like mine, just extra straightener is probably necessary today. So we're in the 90s, full saturation in Ramona. That's where you're likely getting some of that mist coming through as well. So onshore flow will be the talk of today. Things will change a little for Wednesday as high pressure builds up. 63 degrees for downtown San Diego right now, but most of San Diego, you're in the upper 50s right along the coast. Same with Poway, El Cajon. You're at 60 in Chula Vista, cooler in Alpine and Ramona as you see those numbers in the 40s, 49 in Palomar Mountain. And looking ahead for the next 12 hours along the coastline, by noon, upper 60s, by 2 o'clock, 69 degrees. That's all we're going to get to today. So just a little bit of a warming going on, but not by much. Inland, expect the low 70s. Temperatures will be very similar to what we had yesterday, but we'll likely see more of that sunshine by this afternoon. We just need the marine layer to go ahead and, move on back for us.